YouTube is an experience I have not been able to say for quite some time. I took a bit of a hiatus off the vlogging and the podcast recording. Life for me recently has taken a little bit of a detour in terms of passion and focus and where I'm moving forwards, but I really do enjoy recording videos and I really do enjoy the aspects of sharing, living a life future self. So let's do a little bit of a rundown update. The retreat had to be postponed. There were some issues going on in Bali, and then there was also just the flight-based issues with the oil struggles and the oil uncertainty in the world. So I've pushed that back until next year to give me a little bit more time to organize, to plan, and to allow for things to pop up, allow a nice long length of time so there's just less stress, there's less pressure, there's less things that can kind of get in the way. So that's the biggest hurdle that I had to overcome recently. Many of you know who do follow me on the gram, I really lent into triathlon training recently. So swimming, bike riding, and running. One of the most demanding endurance sports out there, and it has been such an amazing experience for me. I started and pretty much still am, to be fair, but starting so low on the ladder, complete beginner in the bike riding field and the swimming field, has been just such an enjoyable experience to allow myself to be a beginner, not to fight the awkwardness or the embarrassment or the lack of knowledge that comes with being flat at the bottom. I've been putting so many hours into the training, running about twice a week, riding 3 times and swimming once, whilst weight training around 3 sessions for about an hour. So training going from 6 sessions down to 3 has been a massive adjustment for me, given that I've trained for 5 to 6 times for the last 5 years. Interestingly enough, even having not been on vlogs for so long, that's the biggest update into my life. I've literally just been training, organizing, and doing things. A little bit different here and there, but so much of the same. This morning was supposed to be a ride for 3 hours, but I bled my brake pressure last night, taking it off the kicker, which is an indoor trainer. So don't ask how I've done that. Quite embarrassing how I've done that, but I've done that. So I plan to do my long run, which is normally on Tuesday. I plan to do that today. Woke up and it's raining. So the world is just kind of spicing up my Monday. I spent all of last week sick. I'm definitely not going to delay anything, push things back, sleep in, snooze. I will say to you though, the concept of snoozing this morning was so high and would have been higher had I have not planned. Even though the plan went to shit, the fact that I conceptualized knowing what I wanted to do and how I wanted to do it allowed a pivot to be so much easier. So if you guys aren't planning your weeks, you are just putting yourself in such a detrimental position of vulnerability to not show up for your goals. Nah, just kidding. How was zone 2? Cruisy. Absolute cruise. It's a bit of head noise because on a treadmill, but give me one sec. One sec. Just saving the old Garmy over here. 85 minutes at a zone 2 pace, which holy shit, zone 2 is slow. Really slow. So 13.5k, 6:19 pace, zone 2 whole time. Gonna stretch now, roll out the legs, then duck home, shower, straight into some future self coaching calls, which is my favorite part of Monday. I adore that more than anything. And then yeah, whatever else I'll take you through, show you into my week. It's pretty consistent at the moment, so be prepared to see a shitload of working, running, riding, swimming, gymming, recovering. That's it. Work's done, went home, a few calls, now in the van, which is my parents' car, because my little sports car cannot hold anything. That's why I've been trying to sell for some time, looking at buying a ute, which I'm so close to doing, but taking their car to take the bike to the fucking bike shop. A lesson learned not to try and fix my brakes on my own, because I ended up bleeding the fluid out of it anyway. It's bike terminology that half of us don't care about nor know about. Nor do I, to be fair. But I just got to go and take that to get fixed, because I can't ride my bike with no brakes, especially the TT, the time trial or the triathlon bike. And I don't really love riding my road bike because it is a piece of shit. Gonna duck there, drop it off, whip it to the gym. I've got an upper body strength session, crank that out, a little bit of mobility, then back a few calls, pick up a few packages, which I'm excited about, and then wind down the day. Tuesday morning, straight into it, woke up, work, brekkie. Now I'm getting the day prepped and planned with supplements, because I'm a type A person. And what that means is I can't go to bed unless I prepare everything for the next day the night before. I can't leave for an activity unless I'm strategically mapped out, planned, and everything is sorted. That is just the life I live. And I love it. I was a pack your books the night before school type of school kid. I was a prepare your notes the night before TAFE kid. I've always been that. I've always been an over-preparing, overdoing. So I am making greens and hydrate here, and then pre-workout and creatine. And then over here was just switch perform hydrate, which is a double dose of electrolytes, because I'm hitting the pool. So this is for my gut, for my energy. This is for my gym session, and then for my pool preparation. So as you could pick up, it's a double day, which is, to be fair, most days besides tomorrow. Tomorrow's gonna be a full rest day on Wednesday, but a double day. So gym, stretching, mobility, and then afternoon little break, and then we're gonna hit the pool. Pool for me is taking a little bit of a back step, because I had a little bit of inflammation flaring up in my left shoulder. So I had to take out all pressing out of my programming, all hanging, pull-ups, those things, anything that demanded a lot, either from my rotators or the bursa sack itself. So I've been slowly getting back into the pool. Small sessions, not too much volume. Today I'm gonna push it a little bit because I've been feeling really good. It doesn't mean I'm gonna go absolutely crazy, because I wanna stay feeling good, but just going to start to overload a little bit. So I can't do a half Ironman at a 1.9K swim and not be over swimming 1.9K in a session. Otherwise I'll get to the day and absolutely die, let alone when I'm preparing for the full Ironman, it's double that. Hydrate caffeine now, which is 100 milligrams of caffeine for a normal serving of electrolytes. This is probably my all-time favorite product outside of the electrolytes and carbs. I absolutely adore this product. It's just so much better than drinking those cans. All those cans full of just fuck knows what. So I prefer taking that. And it also limits my caffeine intake because I don't want to take too many scoops of electrolytes in a day unless I'm having a very demanding bike session or ride session. So it really limits me to one, whereas those cans, I friggin' could crank 2 or 3. What else do we have here? What else do we need? We don't. I need the Whizzer. I'm going to pack all this up. I'm going to go catch up with an online client. We're going to go have a coffee, which is really exciting. They live locally and they've been heading down here recently. So that's super cool. Go have a coffee, go catch up, further our relationship, further the trust, further the building of their journey. Then I'm going to duck straight to the gym, lower body, strength, rehab, and mobility day with a little bit of prehab for the joints. And then the pool, and then work, and a repetition pretty much of what my days look like. Training, working, and making content.
Hey little sister, what have you done? Hey little sister, who's the only one? Hey little sister, who's your Superman? Hey little sister, who's the one we want? Hey little sister, shotgun. I never thought I'd meet a girl like you.
Vibes are high. On the way to the pool, the weather vibes aren't high. It's fucking raining and it's an outdoor pool. So the chance of me getting any content at this pool will be minimal to none. And I fucking hope it's not going to be cold. It's got a brand new wetsuit, but they always give the disclaimer not to take it into chlorine. And triathlon based or swimmers based wetties are not cheap, so I'd rather not destroy it. I'll save it for the salt water. So I'm just going to absolutely tough it out in the jammers. At the end of the day, the pool is heated. I'll do 1.2 to 1.6 today, hopefully, if the shoulder holds up, if it doesn't get too inflamed and too agitated with all the friggin' dancing that's been going on at the moment. Solo in my car that no one ever sees. And no one would ever believe you if you told them that I did it. Yeah, jump to the pool, spend some money to wear some skin tight suit to get absolutely dizzy, stare at the floor for 40 minutes straight, and be in the cold. What a life this is. If the audio... Look at the goggle. Whoa. I mean, if the audio sounds a little bit off, the microphone just died, which is a bummer. I did a 35-minute session, 1.7 Ks at a minute 48 pacing. Shoulder felt pretty good. There's moments over the swim where I'm just tweaking the technique, knowing if I want a 3-stroke per breath or 2-stroke, where I'll feel it almost twinge or it starts to get a little bit warm. And then sometimes there'll just be a few hundred meters I won't feel anything. So I broke today up in 400s, 300s, and 200s. I think I did 1-4, a handful of 3s, and then a handful of 2s. I'm not focused on a real structural split at the moment. I'm just focused on increasing the distance whilst not dealing any damage or burden to this bad boy. Dude, I can't take myself serious. It's so funny. That's so funny. But things are feeling good. The rest of the day is just work. So I got calls and programming. Nothing too interesting or too fun. I probably won't burden the vlog with the insights of those things. Unless you want to see those, then you can just chuck it in the comments below and I can throw that in next week's vlog. But the weather's pretty crappy. I'm gonna have lunch, have a shower, cruise the rest of the day, sit behind the laptop, just do a few hours of content work, program creation, client checking in, touching base, and then I got a handful of calls tonight. So I'm going to hit the road and I'll probably see you tomorrow. Tomorrow's a rest day, but I might do an active rest day, might do something. The weather all week's pretty average, which is a bit annoying, but just got to work with it. Actually, I got to pick up my bike tomorrow. My bike is ready from the brake caliper that I bled, so I'm going to go pick that up, and then hopefully I'll be able to do 2 sessions later in the week. You can't tell me that isn't one good looking bike. It's a little upgrade to the aesthetics. I have a 3-hour ride ahead of me. So it's Wednesday, almost midday-ish. I couldn't go super early this morning like I would prefer because I had 2 client future self coaching calls. So it's going to be a midday slog. I don't think I've rode my bike for that long during the middle of the day. So super interested to see how I'm going to go. I'm going to head one way for a little bit and then just find a lap, maybe a 10K-ish lap, and up and back, up and back. I don't know what it'll be. I think it's going to be 75 to 90 Ks worth of distance. I'm having 3,000 milligrams of sodium and I think 252 grams of carbs. So I have a calculation of what I like performing on, and it's 1.4 grams of carbs per minute and 17 milligrams of sodium per minute. I actually worked it out over an hour and then I just divided it down. The reason I divided it down is if I go for a 45-minute ride, 90-minute, and then there's just some buffers based on temperature. But the weather looks pretty good, little bit of gentle wind. It's a little colder, which should be good. It should combat kind of some of that midday sun. I was just speaking to the camera for about 3 minutes, realizing I hadn't clicked record. So that's my introduction back to being on YouTube and the staleness in my skills. I was having this thought and this conversation around the concept that you might not be interested in triathlon training, and you might be tuning into the Future Self channel as a way to draw inspiration or motive to live life for your future self. I want you to use these videos and the things I do as a representation, as a dynamic, or as an insight into what living a life future self looks like in account of dynamics. I understand you might not triathlon train or run or swim or lift or be too focused on eating whole foods, but the life I've created on living a life future self bleeds dynamics all through the things I do, whether it's commitment, perseverance, being honest with myself, not letting my feelings dictate my decisions, whether it's planning, execution, whether it's being honest with myself, how I spend my time, the consistency that I show, the truth in the words I speak, then followed through with the actions I take. You can use these videos as a way to draw inspiration on the things I'm doing as the background dynamic behind it, not the thing at core. Living a life future self for me has changed in so many ways. There was a business area of my life for 2 years. I was just non-stop relentless on business. There was a bodybuilding era where I was just non-stop hypertrophy training, and now I'm in my endurance era, but the principles behind it have only grown stronger. I'm going to spend 3 hours in a gentle pain cave and then wrap up the rest of the day with just some work. There's just a lot of work that goes on that I'm not going to put into these videos because you don't need to sit there and watch me talk to a client for 30 to 60 minutes or write a program for an hour or develop my background admin or build my website. So there is a lot of those, and if you are interested, like I mentioned, it could be something I put in, but I'm trying to just more focus on the actions of what Future Self is, shown through health, fitness, and the pursuit of goals. Oftentimes when I do movement or activity, there's always a little something that doesn't feel right, whether it's a knee or a hip or an ankle or a shoulder or a muscle cramp or a hydration factor. And to be fair, that was one of the first times I've really actively gotten into a long stint and felt pretty damn good the whole time. So 3-hour ride, 32.1 kilometer average pace, which is pretty decent because the last time I rode 90 Ks, and that was 95 Ks. Last time I rode 90 Ks, my average was 25. So to go from 25 to 32.1 and 5 Ks on top of that whilst feeling good is a pretty damn good progression right there. I will credit some of that to a better bike.
Here I am again in this mean old town, and you're so far away from me. And where are you when the sun goes down? You're so far away from me. You're so far away from me. So far I just can't see. You're so far away from me. You're so far away from me. Alright.
That was a good sesh. It was I didn't necessarily have anything planned for what I was going into. As I mentioned, it was just 400s and 800s. So normally when I've done track sessions in the past, I've really structured the split. I have a certain amount of rounds to get a certain amount of distance. This one was just playing around with a bit of tempo work, speed work, heart rate work. I've got a fucking 195 heart rate, which is like peak max. I'm 24. So it's like sitting at some of the most peak my heart statistically is able to push. A lot of that was zone 4. I was hitting paces, fastest I think was 3:15. Slowest was 5:30, but that was the warm-up. So 1.2K warm-up and then a mix of 4s and 8s. Might actually can it here. That might be just a little insight into a week of the life, triathlon training, running a business, and doing some future self, living a life future self, not even doing some future self work, living a proper life future self. So this is my intro back in, thinking of doing vlogs over the potty for a little while. There's a lot I still want to share. I non-stop see people living with a lot of self-dishonesty and lacking ownership, and I hope there's some inspiration drawn through the level of commitment I have to my own goals, how I show up, showing you I am who I say I am, building self-belief, elevating my standard, comparing up, not comparing down, and all those good things. But I appreciate you so much for tuning in. It was cool to get amongst it all. I'm sure I'm editing the video, having a blast doing so. If you're new around here, subscribe, because there's the motivation to want to keep doing it. Drop a like on the video, share it with a friend, comment something you didn't expect or you did expect, or what you want to see for the next video. But this is living a life future self, my version of it, with my goals, my perceptions, and my systems. I'll see you in the next one.